hello one and all, welcome to the channel, Go Atkknson Spins. So a nice little response video today for a thread that's been started by Richard's Vinyl Tap House, who's celebrating 1 year of doing videos and being part of the vinyl community. He's come up with a really good little idea actually. It's a bit of a mini celebration of some of the channels that make videos, and what he's asked us to do is just pick out some records that you would not have got if it wasn't for somebody making a video kind of mention it to you. So I did one of my videos, I mentioned the band Shack from Liverpool, and Richard has picked up on that and their brilliant album HMS Fable. So because of my video, he's then bought that and it's one of his favourites. So he's kind of just asking us to kind of give a bit of call outs and paying a bit of dues to some of our favourite channels. So I thought it was a really good idea because I came, part of the reason obviously I do these videos because I've watched other people do them and thought, well, they're really good and I maybe could add to the discussion and the debate. And when I got thinking about this, there were probably half a dozen channels off the top of the head. I thought, well, I know I bought records because of them, and there's 3 or 4 others that if I could find the records they show, I might well buy them. So some of the more harder to get stuff. So in no particular order, I'm just going to go through 5 channels that I've definitely bought stuff from, and then talk about another 2 or 3 just to kind of give them a nod of the hat as well. So thank you to Richard for giving me a mention, and without further ado, I will shut up and start showing some records. So the first channel I'm going to mention, no surprise to people who've watched the channel in the past, Dave Atkinson. Dave has shown many records over the years. He's been going quite a while, and the first video that I kind of really connected with that Dave did was a video where we showed classical music, which to this day I don't think anyone else has really done that, and you can tell he knew what he was talking about. And what he did, he just picked like a beginner's kind of guide to maybe some stuff you could buy, and from there when I was driving to and from work, did like a playlist of all of these classical pieces to kind of listen to, and it's brilliant because for about a month that was what I was listening to in the car. So I have to say thank you to Dave for that one, and probably one of the best VC videos I've seen. I won't go on it anymore, he'll get a really big head. But also Dave does obviously have a very broad kind of taste in music, and I've been to his fabled record rooms and his overflow and duplicates, and this year he gifted me a record, and now by a band that I have got some stuff by, but I probably would not have picked up on this album because some of the stuff didn't really resonate with me, but this one I think is one of the best records that I've bought this year, and I think it was a freebie. I think Dave gave me this one, but it's Tangerine Dream and Ricochet, which, the reason I might not have picked up on it is because it's a live album, but it's a live album of new material that was kind of stitched together from a load of concerts. I think it was Coventry Cathedral in there or something like that. Yeah, autumn in France and Britain. So but it's a really good album. It's the most kind of Pink Floydy album of theirs that I've listened to. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was great. So 2 sides of instrumental music. It's absolutely brilliant. So highly, anyone's a bit on the fence with Tangerine Dream, give this one a go. It's a brilliant album. I have to say that cover's brilliant, isn't it? So there you go. So thank you to David Atkinson. Great channel. You all know Dave, don't you? And obviously we're talking again now after the whole vinyl community quiz thing. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that anymore. It's been a very traumatic week. So there you go. Then the other one, I can't talk about vinyl community channels without doffing a hat, there's a clue, to Norman Maslov, or Mazzy as we all know him, because probably my early experiences of looking at YouTube started really in lockdown, and I was looking at plumbing videos to start with because I'd got a toilet that something had gone, and it was a really simple part, and I thought, you know what, I reckon I could do this myself. So I watched loads of plumbing videos on YouTube to get this. It's a 50p part. It would have cost me like 200 quid to get a plumber out, and from there I think maybe a music thing video cropped up, and then I think Mazzy's channel came up, and primarily my early years of looking at vinyl community videos were all centered around the Beatles, to be honest with you, because at the time there were some brilliant reissues coming out. We had the the Sgt. Pepper box set, the White Album box set, which I think is probably the best one they did, the Abbey Road, and around that time they were doing like traffic cams of the Abbey Road crossing. John Lennon's Rolls Royce was floating around London, his psychedelic Rolls Royce and stuff like that. And then from there, I think I picked up on Mazzy. Now, one of the things Mazzy did very good, and he isn't a Beatles channel, but he does talk about the Beatles, but he kind of convinced me. Now, as a child of the 80s, I was, my opinion until fairly recently, was that everything Paul McCartney did in, you know, the 70s and 80s was pretty rubbish, to be honest with you. I was wrong. So Mazzy made me, for instance, go out and buy a copy of Wings Wildlife. Now, I grew up on Q magazine, and this, you know, when they did the CD reissues, this was like a 1-star load of rubbish. Red Rose Speedway was another one. Actually, this is a mighty fine album, actually. A little bit raw, certainly kind of dashed off quite quickly to get the band kind of vibe, but it's actually not a bad album at all. And Mazzy did a great video on this one, which kind of made me give it a chance, so thanks for that. But he also did a brilliant series of videos on the San Francisco psychedelic scene, and a little Beatles connection here, but that sent me off buying some of those type of things. So the Steve Miller Band. Now, in the UK, as a younger person, the only thing I knew about the Steve Miller Band was Abracadabra, but their early Capitol albums, certainly the first 4 or 5, are fabulous. So this is a good one. It does feature Paul McCartney on the track My Dark Hour, so which closes the album. But the good thing about this stuff in the UK, you can pick these up fairly cheaply. So I've managed to get a complete run of Steve Miller Band albums, all down to Norman Maslov's fault. But the best thing he turned me on to, he was doing a video on something or other, and in the background he was playing a song called Pentangling from this album. Now, at the time I bought this, I'd got a bit of folk in my bit of folk in my collection, mainly Fairport Convention, bit of Sandy Denny, maybe some John Martin, Nick Drake, but I probably wouldn't have checked out Pentangle if it wasn't for Mazzy actually playing the record in the background, and that song in particular. And for those that are maybe not massive folk fans, I'd certainly give this a chance. It's got a rock element, a jazz element, and a folk element, but it all comes together, and it's a glorious record, this one, and one of my faves. And I did manage to get a UK origin of this, and it's fantastic. So thank you to Norman Maslov for that. So who else has influenced me? So I said I started very much along the Beatle channel. So there was Beatley Tone, Andrew Dixon's got a great channel, and of course over in Derby there's my pal Beatle Dave, and quite recently Beatle Dave, and this is what's good about the vinyl community, he did a bit of a response video to one of my videos on box sets and showed some of his favourite box sets. And whilst he was doing that, he showed one that I'd ummed and ahed about getting, and I think the price was never quite right, and he showed it, and it's a beautiful looking set, and I thought, oh, I really wish I'd have bought that now. And Dave in the comments going back and forth said, well, I think there's some on eBay, go and have a look. And I managed to find one, and this has literally just arrived in a very rainy day in the UK, so I haven't even had a chance to open it yet, but there you go, look at this for a thing of beauty. So Dave's just shown this. It's a box set of Adam and the Ants, King of the Wild Frontier. Now, before I bought records, before I bought singles, the very first bit of music I had was on cassette, and one of the very first cassettes I had after Queen Greatest Hits was Kings of the Wild Frontier, and briefly at my school Ant Mania was everywhere. So this is quite a special album in my kind of heart. I've got a couple of vinyl copies, but this box set is just amazeballs, because you get a gold vinyl version of the album, couple of CDs that are on gold, a DVD, posters, all kinds of gubbins. So but I managed to get this at an absolute bargain, knockdown price. Sorry, Beatley Dave, Beatley Dave, that's Beatley Tone, Beatle Dave from Derby, who's a bus driver. I have to apologise, I managed to get that for around 30 quid. So yeah, so I was well happy with that. It's just arrived, and it was better than I expected, because it is literally new and still sealed. So bargain galore that was. Another one, so over in the good thing again, going at the vinyl community, it's got a wide reach, hasn't it? So a couple of years back, a lovely chap called Morten over in Norway did a little thing, believe it or not, for 650 subs he did a little contest, and I managed to convince him that Robert Plant was from Norway and was a Viking. He wasn't, he was from Stourbridge, but we'll let him off. But Morten very recently put a video up showing something he just picked up, which I completely forgot about. Record Store Day release. So Electrofiction, Burned, which is kind of like the missing link between Echo and the Bunnymen part 1 and then their reunion with Evergreen. They did this album. It's Ian McCulloch and Les Patterson. No, it isn't. It's Ian McCulloch and Will Sargent, sorry. And Les Patterson wasn't on it, which is why the album after this was called an Echo and the Bunnymen album, because they then got the third member back and reformed properly. But just arrived. Lovely. Shall we show you a bit of splatter vinyl? We all like that, don't we? There you go. It's on this kind of cool marbly thing. So again, I probably had completely forgot about that on Record Store Day. And again, I managed to track down one, 6 months on at quite a decent price. So pleased to get that. And I can't mention the vinyl community without the hand of God that is Rob Walker. Who did the wonderful vinyl community quiz kind of punditry, the Gary Neville of the VC. But went out with Rob. Obviously, I've met Rob a few times. He handed me this album, said, try this one out, a band called The Truth, a bit of a mod revival band. I would never have picked this up with Rob, and I said, yeah, I'll go and get that. It was only a £5, but great little album. And then one thing though, Rob also, when we went to Den Bosch with Dave, in the back of the car, the person who was responsible for the Barclay James Harvest marathon listening session was Rob, because he innocently, from the back seat, went, hey Dave, have you got any Barclay James Harvest on your 10 million track gig iPod download thing that you've got set up in your car? To which Dave went, have I got any Barclay James Harvest? Oh yes. And several hours later we were still listening to them. But thanks, I think, for that one, Rob. But I have bought some Barclay James Harvest on the back of Rob's innocent inquiry. So there you go. So that's just some records there that I would not have got if it wasn't for the VC. I did say to do some honourable mentions. So these chaps have all done great videos showing great records, but I've never ever found any of the ones that they recommend because they are on the more kind of rarer side. So Martin the Martian shows some great stuff, but I never ever find any of that. George Pryor up in London does some great videos. I think he's on the coast actually, like Southampton anyway. But again, he finds some really great stuff, and he does do stuff that one day I might find. And Chris, the Suffolk vinyl collector, also finds some amazing stuff down Norfolky way. And again, I never find any of that kind of stuff. But hey, that's the dream, isn't it? We live in hope. So thank you for watching. I'll try and end this, make it short and sweet. It's been a tough week in the Norman household. Thanks for those that gave me some kind of sympathy for the loss of one of my little black and white army cats. I've still got another 2 though, but one of them's had to have 8 teeth out this week, so it's been a pretty horrendous week cat wise, but he's still with us, so thank God for that. I also lost the quiz. I have to say, well done to Midge's Vinyl Gems. What a performance in the vinyl. So if you haven't watched it and you want to see me get a bit of a pounding, yeah, actually it wasn't as bad as I thought when I watched it back, but at the time I thought, oh my God, he knows everything. And Boards of Canada, I never want to hear that band name again. Over and out, go back to my